Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. A lot to talk about this week, a lot of different key drivers, moving card prices. Streets of New Capenna started to move some cards last week. You're going to see a little more of that this week. And now, Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate is also starting to move some card prices. Luris of the Dream Den's banning in Modern did have an effect on a lot of cards over the last couple weeks. You're going to see a little bit of that today, too. And of course, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty did inspire a lot of people to build new Commander decks. And that is still one of the big drivers for card prices. You're going to see that throughout the video today. Plus a whole lot more. We're going to dig into all of it, but just a fast reminder, if you go to FlipsideGaming.com, you can use the Heroes promo code to save 10% on orders over $10. Currently, you can pre-order Streets of New Capenna products there, but they also have a whole lot of other things on their website. Remember, if your order's over $100 or consists only of singles, shipping will be free in the United States. Also, whenever you use the Heroes promo code, it does support the channel, which is always appreciated, so thank you. And without any further ado, let's get into it. We're going to begin with the standard legal spotlight, and again in this video, the threshold is $2. We're not going to talk about a card unless it's moving at least $2 up or down. Only a couple of cards to look at when it comes to standard, so let's see what's happening. First, we have Chandra Dressed to Kill, but this is the one from Innistrad Double Feature, still trying to find its price point. It goes up $260 this week to $17.26. I do think that price is a little inflated. You don't see a lot of copies of this particular version of the card out there online right now, but I'm sure as more copies get out there, it will stabilize down. It's a good card, though. In standard, it sees play in mono red aggro, Gruul mid-range. Pioneer, it's in mono red aggro there. Modern, it's in mono red mid-range. And it does get a little commander play too in Chandra Fire of Kaladesh builds and more. And the last card in this section is the Meat Hook Massacre. The Innistrad Midnight Hunt copy is up $4.88 to $55.27. The Innistrad Double Feature copy up $11.36 in theory to $80. But again, there's not a lot of copies of that particular version out there right now, which means that the price is most likely inflated. And when more copies get out there, I would assume it would get down a little bit closer to that Midnight Hunt price. It does see a lot of play, though. In standard, it's in Orzhov Midrange, Orzhov Control, and much more. Pioneer, it's in Jund and Rakdos Sacrifice. And it has seen increased commander play, too, recently. It's in Tetsunari Toad Rider, Go Shintai of Life's Origin. Also, there was a Game Nights episode this week, and you know what Game Nights can do to some card prices, brings a lot of exposure. And this was in a Xanathar Guild Kingpin deck there. It was also mentioned in a Tolarian Community College video this week, too. And that quickly takes us to the Pioneer Legal Spotlight. We have one card going down in value and a few going up. The one going down is Blood Crypt. It is down $231 to $16.91, but this is the one from the list that is trying to find its price point still. It was added with Innistrad Crimson Vow, stayed on for Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. Plus, remember, all the Shocklands are going to be reprinted in the Infinity set. When it comes to the gameplay, it is a Shockland, so you know it's going to see play in many different decks in a number of formats. This is in Pioneer decks, Modern decks, and it is in a lot of Commander builds, old and new. First card on the way up is Grim Tutor. This is the one from Starter 1999. It's up $283 to $93.89. So this was recently reprinted again in the Mischief Secret Lair, and because of that, it did lose some value over the last few weeks, but you can see it is rebounding at least a little bit this week. It is a tutor, so you know it's going to see Commander play many times. It's in Yuriko the Tiger's Shadow. And as you know, those decks have been popular recently because of the Ninja support in Neon Dynasty. This is also in some Isshin 2 Heavens as 1 decks too in Commander. Days Undoing, the copy from the list that was added with Crimson Vow, still there for Neon Dynasty. It is up $2.95 this week to $16.43. In Pioneer, this is in Izzet Control. Legacy, it's in Jeskai as well as Band Control. And it gets a little Commander play too. Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, up $328 to $63.47. This card was losing value recently, but now it is climbing back up again, as you can see. In Pioneer, it's in Mono Green Stompy, Mono Green Ramp. In Modern, it's in Mono Green Tron. Legacy, you'll see this in Mono Green Cloudpost, as well as Colorless Cloudpost and Eldrazi Aggro. It has seen increased Commander play, too, in some new builds like Satoru Umezawa and Isshin. And the last card in this section is Mox Amber, up $333 this week to $44.44. This does see some modern play in Izzet Breach. It's also found many times in Yuriko Commander decks. Plus, like many cards we're going to talk about today, it is getting additional Commander play and builds around cards from Neon Dynasty. Lightpaw's Emperor's Voice, Satoru, and Tamishi Reality Architect. And that takes us to the Modern Legal Spotlight. Again, we have some cards going down and then some going up. Cavern of Souls, the copy from the list. Now, it joined the list with Kaldheim, and it stayed on all the way through Crimson Vow, which is quite a while. It's down $2.25 this week to $80.30. Typically, if something's on the list for one, maybe even two sets, it doesn't have a huge impact on pricing. But if it sticks around for a few sets, yeah, that can result in the card at least staying stable for a period of time. And that seems to have happened with Cavern of Souls across the board. The reason I say that is I just feel like the card has been so stable considering how much play it does get. Modern, it's in Amulet Titan, Elementals, and much more. Legacy, it's in Doomsday, Mono Green Cloud Post, and more there. Vintage, you'll see it in Goblins. And it is a huge commander card. This is in Alper Markov and many other popular builds. Mirror Gallery, down $2.34 this week to $25.72. So this one's kind of interesting. There were a lot of people that were trying to pick this card up before Neon Dynasty was previewed. That was based on speculation that one or two good legendary cards coming from that set could make this card better. Then a couple things happened. First, they reprinted it in the list with Neon Dynasty. And secondly, they printed Mirror Box in the set, which is just plain better than this. Now, there are some commander decks that use clone or copy effects that might want one of each of those cards. But for the most part, Mirror Box has been the one everybody's been more excited about. When it comes to commander gameplay, I have seen this pop up a few times in Goshintai of Life's Origin builds, and it can appear in some other decks too. Blightsteel Colossus. Now, this card was spiking pretty aggressively recently because it was getting more commander play in Satoru builds, and to a lesser degree, it was showing up in Jin Gataxia's Progress Tyrant decks too. Now it is starting to settle down a little bit and retract slightly, as you can see. Double Masters is down 201 to 8228, and that Mirrored and Besieged copy is down 251 to 8545. Seasoned Pyromancer down 309 this week to $50. Now, this got pushed out of modern decks because of Lurrus of the Dream Den, but now that Lurrus is no longer in the format, this card was making a big comeback. Now, after some recent big spikes, you are seeing this retracting a little bit, trying to find its price point, nothing unusual there. It is getting played now in modern Rakdos midrange, Jund, Gruul midrange, Glimpse combo, and more. This also gets a little commander play too. The last card going down this week is Blood Moon from the Dark. It's down 343 to 104.41. Now, this card has been sort of turbulent recently. It's the original copy, and that's what this is all about. It's hard to find in good condition online sometimes, and that's why it's always going to fetch a premium. It is worth noting, though, that if you want a cheaper copy of Blood Moon, there's many out there. This was just reprinted again recently in the Mischief Secret Lair, and also it is on the list currently. It joined with Crimson Vow, still there for Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. When it comes to gameplay, this is in Modern, Murktide Regent, Crashing Footfalls, and much more. Legacy, it's in Blood Moon Aggro, sometimes Jeskai Control, and more there too. And it gets commander play in a number of decks, including Krenko Mob Boss. Force of Vigor from Modern Horizons, first card moving up in this section. It goes up 408 to 34.99. Now, this is currently a huge modern sideboard card to bring in against Urza's Saga, and many artifacts as well as enchantments found in the format. Plus, it's a big sideboard card in Legacy, and you do see this in main decks as well as sideboards in Vintage. It does get some commander play too. I have seen this in Sithis Harvest hand builds at times, and those are more popular now due to the enchantment focus found in Neon Dynasty. Dolmen Gate, the one from Lorwyn, is up 506 to 2158, and this has been getting increased commander play in Ishin decks. You know, it's not going to be an episode of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch unless we talk about this card here. Ink-Eye, Servant of Oni from Plane Chase 2012 this time. It is up 533 to 39.96. So a lot of these Ink-Eyes cards have been a little bit turbulent this week. This particular copy, though, is moving up quite a bit. Now, it has seen a lot of commander play recently. It's in Yuriko and Maronar. Of course, both of those decks see more play because of Neon Dynasty. That set had Ninja as well as Rat support. Plus, this is in commander builds around a few new cards from that set. Satoru, Nashi Moonsage's Scion, Greasefang Okiba Boss, and Ishin. Consecrated Sphinx, that copy from Iconic Masters is up 804 this week to 54.84, at least in theory. Now, this particular copy is dry online this week, which is causing a little inflation, so keep that in mind. But it is a very good commander card, seeing more play now in Satoru builds. And finally, for this section, we have Urza, Lord High Artificer from Modern Horizons. It is up $11.55 this week to $75, and this is getting more modern play in this post-Lurrus environment. It's an Affinity as well as Thopter combo there. In Legacy, it's an Urza Echo. Vintage, you'll see this in 8-cast. And it is a popular commander, but also in the 99 builds there too. Good upgrade, even though it is expensive for that Buckle Up commander deck. It's also in fresh builds around Shorikai Genesis Engine from there. Plus, I've seen this in another new commander build, Jin Gataxias Progress Tyrant. And on top of all that, it was mentioned in a Tolarian Community College video this week, which could have brought some more attention to it. And that takes us to the Vintage Spotlight. That's where we talk about cards that see play in Legacy, Vintage, 93, 94, or cards that are just popular among collectors. Now remember, in this section of the video, the prices you see on the screen are going to be very reminiscent of what you might see on a price tracking website. That's because many of these cards don't have a lot of sales in any given week, so we do have to rely a little bit heavier on asking price. Additionally, the older, more iconic Magic cards, the prices you see on the screen are going to be somewhere in between the price for a high-grade raw and a high-grade graded copy. That data doesn't get pulled out separately, but if the price doesn't line up with what I'm seeing for recent sales, I will point that out. This forest is back again. The one you see on the screen from Battle Royale goes up $296 to $962 this week. Now, this is a reprint of a Portal 3 Kingdoms forest, so I can see the appeal here. Typically, when you see a basic land jump like this, it is a harder to find basic land. And usually what happens is you have a player that decides they want to put this particular land in a deck. They may need a number of copies, and when they buy them at the same time, all the reasonable copies disappear quickly, leaving only the more expensive copies in the marketplace online, and that leads to inflation, and that's what you're seeing here. Typically, it doesn't last too long. As more copies re-enter the marketplace, the price starts to go down again. However, sometimes the prices do stay high for a little while. Now, when this happens, it typically happens with white border basic lands because a lot of times players prefer those. They stand out when you fetch. Not a huge percentage increase, but Volcanic Island from Revised is up $380 this week to $767.29. City of Traders up $4.20 this week to $293. And this is in a lot of Legacy decks, including Sneak and Show, sometimes Painter. Also see some Commander play too. Ancient Tomb back again. Tempest up $266 to $69.99. The Ultimate Masters copy goes up $442 this week to $69.23. Worth noting, this was added to the list with Midnight Hunt. Still there now in Neon Dynasty. It is a big Legacy card. You're going to find this in 8cast, Sneak and Show, Painter, and more. Vintage, it's in aggro shops, Goblins, and more there. And it is a huge Commander mana base card too. Good upgrade, even though it is expensive for that Buckle Up Commander deck. Also, I've seen this in fresh builds around Shorikai. Plus, it's in other new Commander builds. Ishin, Lightpaws, Hinata Dawn Crowned, Setoru. On top of that, it was in that Game Nights episode this week too. It was actually in 2 different decks there. Emil the Blessed and Xanathar Guild Kingpin. Seeds of Innocence, this is up $4.99 to $39.97. And this does see some Legacy sideboard play in different builds to bring in against Urza's Saga or Troublesome Artifacts. Plus, it does get a tad bit of Commander play. Plateau from Revised, this one's up $507 this week to $348.81. Intuition from Tempest up $707 to $190. Legacy, you'll see this in Sneak and Show, sometimes Omnitel. As for Commander, it is expensive, but again, if you got one, you might want to throw it in that Buckle Up Commander deck as an upgrade, or maybe you want it in a fresh Shorikai build. Argothian Enchantress, 2 copies here. Eternal Masters up $266 to $54.09. The Urza Saga copy goes up $12.79 to $66.76. In Legacy, this is an Enchantress. When it comes to Commander, you'll find this in Sithis. Plus, it is in some of those new builds. Go Shintai of Life's Origin, Tetsunari, Setsuki the Living Lore. On top of that, it's a good upgrade to the Upgrades Unleashed Commander deck. And quite often, I've seen this in fresh builds around a couple cards from there. Chishiro the Shattered Blade, and Kaima the Fractured Calm. Sandals of Abdullah. This one's up $13 this week to $116.99. Mahamadi Jin, the one from Unlimited, is up $18.64 to $105.83. Mana Bond. This is an older card that's yet to be reprinted, and as you've seen, many of those have been moving up in value recently. This one, though, is up $19.04 to $26.41. What is the reason behind that? Well, there is a new variation of Legacy lands which has been popular and doing very well on MTGO. It's called 8 Mulch, and it typically runs 4 copies of this. It was featured on MTG Goldfish last week, which could have brought some attention to it, of course. Additionally, Mana Bond does get a little Commander play. Sometimes it's in Child of Alara land builds, for example. Mishra's Factory. This is the Antiquity Spring variation that you see on the screen there. It is up $19.51 to $100. Repentant Blacksmith from Arabian Nights, the original. It is up $30 and a cent to $109.99. Stasis from Unlimited up $36.38 this week to $149.97. Elephant Graveyard up $40.45 to $447.75. Birds of Paradise from Unlimited up $52.04 to $329.99. Mirror Universe up $74.10 to $699. Time Walk from Unlimited up $470 to $3,520. So when it comes to Power 9, very few sell any given week, so the price jumps and dips that you see are typically based around the asking price for the cards that are on sale at that given moment. And of course, grades can vary drastically from week to week. Also, the number of cards that are graded versus raw can vary too. So long story short, it is hard to nail down a true value for a Power 9 card. Next we have Juzam Jin. This is up $740 this week to $4,259.99. Is this price for real? Well, high-grade raw copies can sell for about $3,330 or so. High-grade graded copies, of course, can sell for more, but I haven't seen a lot of those selling recently. Not too long ago, a 10 sold for $7,800. Of course, those are very rare, but I do think that sale is impacting this price a little bit. There have been higher asking prices out there since that happened. Mox Pearl from Unlimited is our last card in this section today. One more Power 9 card. It goes up $969.51 to $6,249.50. And that takes us to the Commander Spotlight. So all the cards in this section are moving, at least in part, because of Commander. If there's other influencing factors, though, I will let you know as we go through. Elvish Champion from 10th edition. A couple 10th edition cards are moving up this week. You're going to see another one in a second. This one is going up $201 to $29.23. And of course, this is in Commander Elf builds like Lathril Blight of the Elves, for example. And who knows, maybe we'll see some good new elves in Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate. Perhaps there's a little early speculation on this card. Damnation from Planar Chaos goes up $203 this week to $34. Solid Commander board sweep that you can find in a number of builds, including sometimes Yuriko. It also is getting more Commander play now in Satoru decks too. Here's the other 10th edition card, Lord of the Undead. It goes up $208 to $27. This is in Commander zombie builds like Will Help the Rock Cleaver. Maybe again we'll see some new good zombies in Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate, so this could also be some early speculation. Doubling Season, that Battle Bond copy going up $211 this week to $83.19. It remains hot. Huge Commander card found in many builds, including a Trax of Praetor's Voice. Also, there's been two recent preview cards that could be pushing this. Let's take a quick look at both of them. First, we have Minsk and Boo Timeless Heroes. This is from Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate, just previewed Thursday. And this is a card that could play pretty well with Doubling Season. The other card, Broker's Ascendancy, is a preview from Streets of New Capenna. And again, another card that's going to play well with Doubling Season, but remember, Brokers are one of the crime families, and if this card is any indication, it appears that Brokers may care about adding counters to things. If that's the case, there could be a whole series of cards coming in the set that interact well with Doubling Season. And remember, it's not just about the main set. Each crime family is going to get a commander deck too. Sliver Overlord. Now this is the one from Premium Deck Series Slivers. It only comes in foil. It goes up $214 this week to $41.32. Good combo enabler at times, and also just a popular Sliver commander in general, plus part of the 99 of some other Sliver builds too. Vampiric Tutor. This time the 6th edition one is up $218 to $56.96. Now this was added to the list with Crimson Vow. Still there for Neon Dynasty. It is a popular Commander Tutor found in Yuriko. Also, it's in some other builds around Neon Dynasty cards. Ishin, Satoru, Go Shintai of Life's Origin. You'll see this in Vintage as well. 4-color Tinker, Doomsday, and more there. Plus, it was in 2 different decks on game nights this week. Lizolda the Blood Witch and Xanathar Guild Kingpin. Might have brought some attention to it. And we have another really good tutor in black. This is Demonic Tutor, the revised copy, up $219 to $44.97. And you're going to find this in a lot of Commander decks too, including Yuriko again. Also in Ishin, Satoru, Go Shintai of Life's Origin when it comes to new builds. And it's in Vintage too, 4-color Tinker, Doomsday, and more there as well. This one was in the Xanathar Guild Kingpin deck on game nights this week too. Metal Worker up $225 this week to $164.95. Again, expensive, but a good upgrade to buckle up. Also good in fresh builds around Shorikai. Fierce Guardianship. This card is so hot right now. It goes up $235 to $68.92. Highly played Commander card. Basically, if you're playing blue in Commander, probably want a copy of this. You do see this in Yuriko. It is another good upgrade to buckle up, or something you might put in a fresh Shorikai build as well. You'll see it in other new builds too, like Satoru, Hinata, and Go Shintai of Life's Origin. Winds of Change. This Portal copy is hard to find in high grade online. It goes up $243 this week to $41.74. And it does get some Commander play in different builds, including Nekusar the Mind Razor. Recruiter of the Guard from Conspiracy Take the Crown. This goes up $247 this week to $32.80. And this does get some Commander play in a variety of decks, including Winota Joiner of Forces. In Legacy, you'll see this in Death and Taxes. Power Matrix up $260 this week to $13.50. Another older card that's yet to be reprinted. Now recently Jake and Joel Are Magic on YouTube did feature this card in a short video, and they did mention that it could be good in an Ishin commander deck. Perhaps though there's some further interest in this card because of those 2 preview cards we saw earlier. This could play well with both Broker's Ascension and Minsc and Boo Timeless Heroes. Gilded Drake up 296 to 339.50, not a huge percentage increase here, but it is a good commander card in some decks. Expensive, but again, if you got one, you might want to put it in Buckle Up, or put it in a fresh build around Shorikai, plus it is in another new deck too at times, and that's Hinata. Exorcist up 301 to 47.49. Now this currently doesn't see much commander play to speak of. The main reason this is moving is because of its status on the reserve list. Maybe this is the start of a buyout, we'll have to just keep an eye on it. Sylvan Library from Eternal Masters is up 336 this week to 56.99. This is in a lot of commander decks, including Sithis, also new builds like Tatsunari, Goshintai of Life's Origin. In Legacy, you'll find this in 4-color Control, Naya Depths, and more. Plus, it was in the MEL the Blessed deck on game nights this week, too. Mox Opal, the Scars of Mirrodin copy is up $251 to $70. The Modern Masters 2015 copy up $339 to $67.93. Here's another expensive but good upgrade to Buckle Up, also in fresh builds around Shorikai, plus it's in a lot of other new commander decks too right now. Tamishi, Ardent Intrepid Archaeologist, along with Yoshimaru Ever Faithful, Hinata, and aside from all the commander play it gets, you also see this in Legacy, an 8-cast Painter, the Epic Storm, and more. Vintage, it's in Paradoxical Outcome, Aggro Shops, and 8-cast. Ulamog, the Infinite Gyre, the Ultimate Masters copy up 265 to 68.22. The Rise of the Eldrazi copy up 341 to 72.91. This is getting more commander play now in Satoru builds. Another card from this cycle, Deflecting Swat, is up $4 to $49.99. And this too is a very popular commander card in a lot of different decks, including some new ones. Ishin, Hinata, and Goshintai of Life's Origin. Teferi's Protection, this time we're looking at the Mystery Booster copy going up $4.40 this week to $41.82. Very highly played commander card, and again, a lot of people need this for new builds. Good upgrade to Buckle Up. It's in fresh builds around Shorikai. Also, it's in Ishin, Goshintai of Life's Origin, Light Paws, Hinata. Plus, this was in 2 decks on game nights this week, Emiel the Blessed and Shadrick Silverquill. Atraxa Praetor's Voice from Commander Anthology Volume 2. This copy only comes in foil. It goes up $4.56 this week to $39.70. Here is another card that could play well with Broker's Ascendancy, as well as Minsc and Boo Timeless Heroes. Plus, it's also a very popular commander to begin with, also in the 99 of some builds there too, including Goshintai of Life's Origin and Sisei Weatherlight Captain Shrine builds. Of course, those have been more popular since Neon Dynasty brought us some new shrines. On top of that, this was mentioned in a Tolarian Community College video this week too. Kalia of the Vast, watch out for this one. The Commander copy up $232 to $30. The Double Masters copy this week is up $466 to $29.16. Okay, so very popular commander, you already know that. I have seen this even on occasion in Ishin builds recently. But the reason I think this is taking off the way it is right now ties into Streets of New Capenna and Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate. So let's start with New Capenna first. What do we know? We know there's going to be demon crime bosses. On top of that, it does appear that we might see some angels in the set as well. They're part of the description, they're part of the set symbol. Time will tell. Now for Commander Legends, we know that it's a Dungeons & Dragons set, and there's going to be dragons. We even saw one already. Here's Ancient Brass Dragon. This was previewed Thursday. In fact, Commander Legends is also bringing us a commander deck called Draconic Descent. Now, it is in Izzet colors, so not everything is going to match up to be playable in a Kalia deck, of course, since she doesn't have blue in her color identity, but obviously between this preview card and the name of that deck, we get a good indication of what's to come. I do think Kalia of the Vast, if it's not reprinted soon again, could be going up quite a bit in the coming months. Reconnaissance, another older card yet to be reprinted at $4.70 to $18.14. And this is seeing some additional commander play now in Ishin decks. Ancestral Knowledge up $4.88 this week to $16.56. A number of cheaper reserve list cards have been hot recently. At times, they have been the target of a buyout. At other times, they did dry up more naturally because I do think a lot of players are seeing these other buyouts and they think, okay, I need to prioritize some of these reserve list cards that I haven't picked up yet in case they do get bought out. Hard to say if this is the former or the latter, but I will say this does get a little commander play. Here's another older card that hasn't been reprinted yet. This is Dark Sphere. It's up $9.28 to $21.22. Now, this did get a bump in Commander play recently because of a video done by Commander's Quarters. It was part of a Varragoth Bloodsky Sire 96 land Commander deck, and basically the idea was you got your combo pieces together, and then you're able to discard enough to finish off the table using Ad Nauseam and Sickening Dreams. However, don't worry, you're safe because you can activate Dark Sphere. Now granted, are these combo decks the most powerful Commander decks you can bring to the table? No, but there's a lot of people interested in these type of things, and as long as they're cheap enough, there's always going to be some interest. Bruised Hartl Boorish Herder from Commander 2016, this copy only comes in foil. It is up 1463 this week to 2747. It is worth noting there is a Commander Legends etched foil copy of this card that has not really spiked yet. I'm sure it will soon, maybe even by the time you see this video, but maybe you'll still be able to get a decent deal before that happens. So what is the story behind this card? Well, first off, it's been a popular partner commander for a long time, and like a lot of cards, it's seeing more play now in the format because of Neon Dynasty. This is showing up in Isshin decks and to a lesser degree in Tana the Bloodsower / Yoshimaru partner decks. And the last card is Humility. It's up $44.95 this week to $99.99. And it is a reserve list card, but a lot of people have been interested in this for gameplay reasons. I have seen many try to grab this to upgrade the Buckle Up deck, or to put in a fresh Shorikai build. I've even seen it in times in Commander Go Shintai of Life's Origin, but I gotta say, this is a big jump that did happen all of a sudden. Now, there could be a couple of reasons for that. Maybe we just have some copies that are higher grade with higher asking prices out there this week. That's possible. Or this could be a targeted buyout. We'll probably know more as we see the trends over the next week, but I would say be careful right now if you're trying to pick up a copy of this one. I'm sure you can find better deals than $99.99 out there if you shop around. That's going to do it for this episode of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. I did not do a premium spotlight this week. I just didn't see any cards out there I really wanted to talk about. I'm sure next week there'll be some out there, but as you know, in that section, I don't like to talk about cards that are being bought out or cards that are just dry for the week and they're going to go back down the next week. I try to pick things that are moving pretty naturally, and perhaps the increases stick to some degree. I just wasn't feeling anything this week. With that being said, though, hey, thanks for being here. If you stuck with me to the end, I always appreciate that. Until next time, stay safe out there. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page, as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.